And welcome back, everyone, and I am excited. No, I am super excited to be going over a breakdown for The Challenge All-Stars Season 4. I still can't believe I'm saying those words, The Challenge All-Stars 4, and this trailer is fire. Now, before we can get into the trailer breakdown, I do want to say that if you do not want to be potentially spoiled of certain daily challenges, elimination matchups, then I would suggest not watching any further, because doing a deep dive breakdown of the trailer, you're going to see a lot of people in a lot of different situations. So just in case, if you do not want to be spoiled or potentially spoiled at all, do not watch any further. The filming location of the Challenge All-Stars 4 is Cape Town, South Africa, and the contestants will be competing to get the title of the Challenge All-Stars champion, as well as $300,000. Now, we should just jump right into the trailer, because this is going to take quite a while, as I somehow can stretch out 2 minutes of trailer into like 45 minutes. So let's jump into the first scene here, where we're seeing a truck careening down a runway, which seems to be a challenge staple at this point. But when the drone shot goes around, you can see that there are people on the other side of the truck. And when we go a little bit further, we can see that there are 5 people who are tied together, and it looks like they're trying to get untangled from one another. You have what looks to be Tony, Brandon, Jasmine, Avery, and Tina all on a team together on the red team. This is wild. We're going to see this challenge quite a bit during this trailer, but there's one point where in a scene with TJ, the truck is going to drive past him, and it looks like there's going to be a maze on there as well. So it looks like this is going to be a very multifaceted challenge where 5 people are going to have to work together, and this already is starting off with a home run, in my opinion. But now let's move on. We have Cara Maria doing some boxing in the backyard. We have a car drifting in what looks to be a lot. Now, this looks crazy. Somebody is on top of this car. This person has a paintball gun and is trying to hit targets as this car is driving and drifting and going high speeds. This is nuts. But what's funny is that I could not tell who this person was at first until we get down to where their backside is showing, and I can clearly see a D and an E, which makes me think that this is Derek, so he's going to make it to this car drifting daily challenge. This is where the trailer officially begins, but we get to see a little bit of clips first and early that they wanted us to see, so I just thought I would start it from the very beginning of when the trailer starts on YouTube. So now let's get into the actual trailer, which starts now. We have a van. You can see that there's a ton of people on the other side of the runway watching whoever is in here, which seems to be, I think, 3 people in the back and 1 person is up at the front, but there's a whole bunch of people on the runway watching this go. I want to say that this could be the first daily challenge of the season, which could be fun. I think there's another one that I was suspecting of it being the first daily challenge, but we'll get to that in a little bit. This van is being picked up by a helicopter spinning around, and we're going to see Derek, Ryan, and Janelle in the van. I will be honest, this looks absolutely sick in a good way, but also it looks like they're making them sick in a bad way, and I couldn't tell you what they're supposed to do. If this thing was filled with stuff, then I could see them trying to like get everything out of the van. This is wild, and also a lovely throwback, because back in season 2, the Real World versus Road Rules, they had the 2 Winnebagos, and they had the giant longhorn skull on the old Winnebago that they spray painted and everything, and they put a longhorn skull at the front of this van. Then we get these nice oneers where we have Leroy. So excited to see Leroy back on the challenge, along with Cam, Avery, Derek, Jay, Brad, Nicole, Brandon, oh my gosh, Brandon, and Tony, Steve the hand model, Ayana, and Tyree are all back on this season of the challenge. And then you also hear in the background as we see Rachel, which she looks to be in an elimination at this point, and it looks like the steamroller elimination until we get to another drone shot of this elimination, and it's clearly not the steamroller elimination. But Rachel is saying in a voiceover saying, there are certain people who are challengers at heart. I am one of them. I'm so excited. Rachel has always been a strong competitor, but it looks like she only has gotten stronger throughout the years. The most all-star studded challenge ever. You're dang right. You have Cara Maria, who is saying on the voiceover, I want to make it undeniable. Champion of champs. That's what I want. Ooh, a little bit of goosebumps when I first heard her say that. And you also see Cara Maria in an elimination that has something to do with water. It looks like they have to take a ball from one side to the other, going underneath a crate and like a water obstacle course. Then we see during a daily challenge where Cara Maria and Nicole are getting into a heated argument where Ace is grabbing Cara Maria to keep her blocked from getting physical with Nicole, where Laurel is trying to pull Nicole away, who has some choice words for Cara, and then Leroy is back there with Adam as well, and Adam seems to be enjoying it. Adam hasn't been here, he says in this trailer, for 18 years he hasn't been here, but he looks like he's just having a grand old time, seeing all the drama and all the pot stirring. Also, I think it's interesting that if you look on Leroy's helmet in the back, he has a star on his helmet, but if you also go back, there's a star on Cara Maria's helmet. Maybe that's what they get when they win an elimination. They get a star on their helmet. Kind of like when in All-Stars 3, where if you won an elimination, they just gave you a new shirt with an extra star on it after how many eliminations you win. Maybe they just decided that we're not going to make a whole bunch of new shirts with stars on them and press them every time. Let's just put star stickers on their helmets like football players and college football players. So I think that's a pretty good idea. We get another scene of Cara Maria. We get this scene of somebody who is dressed up like a firefighter. I would venture to say that this is an elimination. I would think that they would do that if there was an actual fire. So maybe there's going to be fire going around. I just don't see like overexposure like there is fire on certain things, or if they're trying to do something else. Because if you see the other side of this, we can see that there is somebody who is trying to tackle whoever we were just seeing in the fireman's outfit spraying that water, trying to tackle this person. Now this makes me think that maybe it is an elimination and maybe it's a daily challenge. I'll tell you right now, after watching this multiple times, slowing it down, trying to see names, trying to come up with theories on all the games, I tell you right now, I'm the most confused by this trailer when trying to figure out what games they could be playing, even trying to see names. They did a great job at hiding names as well as making me confused at what exactly they could be doing in any of these challenges. But let's move on to another elimination where we can see some people in street clothes, meaning they probably won the daily challenge. We can see people diving into a pretty long tank with things at the bottom. I would dare to say that the person jumping into the green tank is Steve. Again, I can't make out who's in the tanks, but it looks to be that the 4 players that are not eligible to be sent into this elimination or this episode's elimination was Cara, Ace, Derek, and I don't necessarily know who that last person is. And even with this person diving into the orange tank and getting a little bit of a zoom in, I still can't tell who this person is, sadly. Then we have Jay saying, I belong here, I can do it. I'm getting my redemption. Jay has actually a couple of lines in here. You got Leroy and Cam, where we hear Cam saying, even though I'm a mom now, I'm still Killer Cam. Yeah, you are, as we can see a lovely shot of Cam and Leroy walking what looks to be a vineyard. And then she is hanging on the side of the truck next to Derek as they're going to be partnered up or in a team together on the truck challenge where they're hanging off by a rope on the side as it's going down the runway. And we can see right here the maze that they're going to have to do. So they probably have a peg that they're going to have to get from one side and then be able to pull out. Maybe all 5 people have certain pegs, or they're going to have to work together to move the peg to pass off to each other to then get it to the other side. I'm telling you, this one's going to be fun. The car with the paintball gun is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the helicopter van. There's just so many good ones. Here we are, the Mean Girls Alliance with Rachel, Tina, and Veronica back together again at last. I think the last time we really saw them all together, all 3 of them together, was Inferno 2 Season 10. And then we hear Veronica's voiceover saying, I'm excited to be with them, but this is a game. Does that mean that Veronica is going to have to choose at one point her own game versus having the backs of Rachel and Tina? And we can see here, Veronica standing in the middle of a field in a stadium. We're going to see another point of view of this daily challenge. But as you can see, Veronica also has a star that we saw earlier on Leroy and Cara's helmet. So maybe Veronica goes into an elimination and wins. April 10th, exclusively on Paramount Plus, Cape Town, South Africa. This is why I believe the van being pulled by the helicopter up is the first challenge of the season, because they're making a clear reference to the challenge back in the day with Season 2, Real World versus Road Rules. And I just think that this is a perfect callback. So then you can see that there's a ton of people. I think I counted one other time and it was close to 23 or 24 people. So if it's not the first daily challenge, it would be like one of the first 2 or 3 daily challenges that they would be going in on this. But we'll see how that's all going to play out. But I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Every time I watch this trailer, I get so excited. Here at TJ, welcoming everybody to All-Stars 4, saying, welcome to All-Stars 4. And then we have Leroy here watching somebody do an elimination, and he says, let's effing go. Makes me believe that Leroy wouldn't get this excited about somebody in an elimination unless it's Cam. So I'm assuming that Cam is in an elimination. She's doing a physical elimination, and Leroy is cheering her on as much as he can from the sidelines. Then we see this elimination where there is a ton of rope. It looks like there's going to be a wrestling match. I can clearly see that this is Kefla. Kefla, who is looking bigger and jacked more than ever coming into this season after not being on a challenge since Season 2/Season 3. And here he is just, man, he is just grabbing it. He is grabbing this person, ready to flip them. I'm so excited. Then you have Nicole. I feel like this is a throwback to one of those electric challenges back in like Season 14 or even earlier, where you had to like move the metal pole to try to get it unlocked. And if you touched it, it's kind of like Operation, where if that metal ring touches any of that pole, you're going to get shocked. We see Cara doing the boxing. Then we have, again, the truck careening down the runway with the maze on the side of it, and the people are going to be hanging from it. And explosions, you can't get away from the explosion. Here's the drone shot again of the truck challenge with everybody holding on to the ropes and stuff. Again, the same look, the same team with Tony, Brandon, Avery, Jasmine, and Tina. So this is the elimination that I think Rachel is doing when we first see her at the beginning of this trailer, because yes, it's very much like the steamroller where they're in a tube. There is a ball inside of this tube and you're gonna have to roll it out of the tube. It looks interesting. I just don't know what they would be doing it. The only thing I could think of is if both people were in the tube at once trying to push this ball while the tube is spinning, or maybe they're doing something else. Like I said, this is the toughest and the most I've racked my brain trying to come up with what's going on in each elimination and daily challenge, because I couldn't tell you from right or left or wrong to right. Here we have a daily challenge with a whole bunch of rows of puzzles, and Tony has the yellow column. Veronica is right next to him with the orange column, and Tony is sliding in like he's playing baseball. Here we can see a ton of people walking up on the runway. I believe this looks like the same runway where the Winnebago was earlier in this trailer, with that being the same runway, or possibly the same runway, as well as everybody looks to be in high spirits, very excited. I feel like their spirits haven't been crushed yet, and people aren't as stressed out yet. I mean, Cara is like skipping throughout this portion and everybody is like pointing, and it just seems like everything is so new at this point that this is why I believe this is the first like of them walking up to meet up with TJ for the first daily challenge of the season. And it just seems like everybody is still here. So, and you can see what I believe to be Kefla and I think Ayana doing the kid and play dance. Janelle is here saying, whoever gets sent in with me, let's play. Meaning Janelle is definitely going into an elimination, And so she is just waiting to see who's going to be voted in to go against her. And she's right here saying, whoever's going to be sent in, I'm going to take out. We're back at the giant field puzzle daily challenge, where it looks like Adam is bringing up his star to where like Tony was sliding into last time. I believe that's Nicole. And I think that's Tina all the way in the back. I can't tell realistically who anybody else is. But we have Adam here saying, I've been gone for 18 years. Now is my time. As we can see Adam here looking very intensely as he could be going into an elimination. Actually, he's definitely going into elimination. Laurel looks very sad here. And it might be because we hear a voiceover from Nicole saying, Laurel hates my guts because she's secretly still in love with me. Ugh. This is nuts because it took so long for this trailer and this season to finally be released that I feel like we've gone through the whole stage of roller coaster. Like if you've been around the challenge social media or the Reddit or anything, I mean, you know that these two have been like in love, rekindled things, and then things went horribly, horribly wrong between these two. And it led to multiple challengers and multiple people getting in on the social media frenzy on these two just not liking each other. But we're now working all the way backwards, like it's a Tarantino film, where we've seen how this whole movie ends, but now we're going to go back to the beginning and see how it all began. And here we can see that Jay, Laurel, Tony, and Nicole will be doing a challenge together. I'm guessing that this is going to be ran somewhat like Free Agents or Dirty 30, where all the daily challenges are either going to be ran in solo, pairs, or in groups, which is very exciting, or teams, which I'm very excited about. Laurel does not want to hear what Nicole has to say, meaning maybe something crazy happened within their team. There wasn't some good communications and they didn't win. Then you hear Laurel saying, I don't want to hear it. And Nicole saying, do not speak to me for the rest of the game time. Is this the same runway from the Winnebago daily challenge, do you think? I know it's like at night, but they would have a lot of time that they would have to turn over if they had so many people, so many rounds to do, and then having to reset the van, having to reset the helicopter, fill up the helicopters with gas and all this other stuff. So I almost think that maybe this is them in the first challenge, because I feel like that Winnebago one is going to be like 4 people going at one time in the van, because 3 people will be sitting in the back, 1 person will be in the passenger seat, and they're going to have to do something. So I expect that this is the team for the van daily challenge at the earlier part of the season. Steve is in an elimination where there is fire. This looks interesting because it looks like this is Cam as they're like held by bungees. And then this doesn't look good because in the next instant, they are instantly being yanked. And not only that, but we also see Brad is also doing this challenge. Can't tell you what else is happening in this challenge unless they're trying to hold on for dear life. Kind of like, what was it? Duel 2, where they were just, the guys would be holding on to the women's hands next to that big old canyon. And they would just try to hold on for as long as they could before they just drop their partners. And then they just start going, swinging back and forth like a pendulum. I wonder if that's how this one's going to be doing, where it's like a budget challenge where they're just standing somewhere and they're just holding on. Or could it be the trivia challenge where they're holding on and doing it in partners and they're trying to hold on to each other, and every question they get wrong, they would tighten up the bungees to where it would pull them apart at some point and then flinging them off somewhere. But Brad's doing this, and he also lets go of his partner, whoever that is. Somebody gets flung. I really can't tell who this person is, whether it's Jay or is it Ryan, who is being just absolutely flung into the water. Like, it's not even like it's a hard one, whereas everybody is just giving grimaces. Doesn't look good. It doesn't sound good. And TJ saying in the background, now we're having fun. But here in this picture, we can see Brad, Adam, I believe that's Tina, Flora, and I can't tell who is standing so close to the actual camera here. Then you have Leroy, again, in elimination, but he's in street clothes. So at some point, he wins a daily challenge, is standing up there. I wonder if somebody is asking to help, for him to help him out. Maybe save him from going into elimination or save them from going into elimination. And Leroy says, man, hell no. 24 All-Stars fight for a star. And this is where we're going to get more backstory of how this game is going to get played. But first, we get this nice scene of what looks to be a certain daily challenge where players are going to be paired up with each other. We can see Derek and Veronica paired up. We have Ayana and Cyrus paired up. Brandon and Laurel paired up. Little Fresh Me 2 action team up there. As well as Steve and Jasmine. Ace and Cara. Avery and Adam? Maybe? Here's that other challenge where I could see Veronica in the stadium, in the field, and people are running in. Maybe this could be the mini final. See, this is where I'm confused. Is this a challenge? Is this a daily challenge? Is this possibly in the final? Is this an elimination? I mean, there's a board in the back with instructions, but normally you wouldn't see a board with instructions unless it's like a mini final or possibly a final. So that's very interesting to me. Maybe it's another part of the daily challenge with the firefighters and they're all dressed in their firefighter gear, and maybe a teammate has to put something of theirs on fire and that person's going to have to put them out. I don't know what's going on. It would probably hurt. You can't do that, but I don't know. It just seems weird that there's production involved putting Cara Maria's hand on fire where it looks like there is an instructions sign in the back, and normally we don't get those unless for specific occasions. And like I said, I've racked my brain watching this like 6 times, and I have no idea what's going on in this one. This is the giant puzzle challenge here, where I think it's solo. That this is going to be played in solo. Everybody gets their own. Well, actually, no, not everybody would be in solo, right? Because there's greens that are all similar. There's an orange row that's all cylinder. So maybe this is going to be a team, but each team member is going to have to put their own puzzles together. As you can see, there's a ton of people in this challenge. Makes me think that this is going to be early on in the season. If we count the rows, it's difficult to count at certain points. It's either 23 or 24. This is either the first or second daily challenge, I would assume. It says, but for the first time ever, Kefla, we get a nice shot of Kefla. He's going to be in the stadium along with Veronica. As we can see, he has a star on his helmet too. I don't know if everybody just has a star. I don't think you see everybody have a star. I feel like they're given a star when they win elimination. Jasmine also has a star on her helmet, as Derek doesn't look to have a star on his helmet. So that's another reason why I think that it comes when you do something particular, whether you win a daily challenge. Maybe it's either you win a daily challenge or you get an elimination. Because back in All-Stars 3, people got screwed if they didn't see an elimination, but people who saw multiple eliminations got the benefit of getting a star, even though if you won so many and were safe throughout the entire game because you won so many daily challenges, you kind of got screwed over that you should have sent yourself into elimination, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But you see Jasmine and Derek, you see Ryan and Avery, and then you have Steve holding up a star, meaning Steve is most likely going to be winning an elimination at some point on this season. Then you have a star here. We hear TJ saying in the background, in order to compete in the final, you must be in possession of a star. These stars can and will be stolen, which makes me feel like either it's very similar to a skull twist or maybe the keys from the island, especially when you hear Brad saying in the background, I'm taking your star when I come back. Makes me think of the key twist in the island, because if you won a daily challenge or a face-off on that season, you could just steal anybody's key. So if Brad's saying, I'm going into the elimination, but when I come back, I'm taking your star, how can he take somebody else's star unless he's saying, I'm going to drag you down to elimination and I'm going to take your star? Either way, I feel like it could be that. As we can see, they picked Cara Maria picking a star from the mantle, which obviously means Cara does something very important, whether it's winning an elimination or anything. To get a star, she gets a star. Here's TJ just saying that stars can and will be stolen. They'll have to fight to keep it. Here's Brad saying, I'm taking your star when I come back. This is where the stadium is, but this is crazy here because Kefla looks like he's sitting down. I don't know if they have to like get to a designated seat once they're like in this part of a daily challenge, but in this daily challenge, it looks like they have to get to a certain seat or find something in the stands, and Kefla sits down, but then Leroy comes running over. He knocks into it. Cam knocks into him. Steve is knocking in. People are falling into seats and everything. It looks like they're all sitting in the same row. So possibly this is going to be like musical chairs where you're going to have to get to a certain spot and you're going to have a certain amount of seats in that section that you're going to have to sit down. And if you don't get in that designated row, designated seats, you're going to be out of that particular daily challenge. It can't move on to the next phases. That's what it looks like as Cam and Leroy are falling over while Kefla gets squished by everybody else who is just rampaging over here. You got Cyrus saying it's going to be a dogfight. Tina is having dinner sitting next to Nicole and Jay, and Tina is twirling her hair saying, I love the drama. Oh, we know you do, Tina, and we love it too. Tony, who looks to be very excited, possibly he won a daily challenge. Jay looks excited too. Also, they're walking in what looks to be first out of everybody else, meaning that they probably won a daily challenge at a certain point. Laurel is neck deep, and I don't know what that is, but I feel like you need to close your mouth and put on the goggles because you don't want any of what's ever in there getting all up in here. No, thank you. This is very interesting. It looks like this is going to be like a puzzle challenge where it looks like Leroy is doing puppetry. Leroy is trying to get this drink to his mouth and not using his hands to hold onto the cup, and it just squirts, but it looks like he gets it down. Now, really the only voiceover that I couldn't nail down to a specific player happens around here with somebody putting their face into their hands, whereas you can hear a man saying, oh, how the tables have turned. I couldn't nail down whose voice that was. I played it a couple of times. I didn't think it was Jay. It didn't sound like Adam. So I couldn't really pinpoint that voice. I got every other voice but this one soundbite that says, oh, how the tables have turned. Here what looks to be, they're at the deliberation, at the table, they're trying to figure out something. Ace gets up, is pointing at somebody, maybe he gets voted in by somebody that said that they would never say his name, he gets upset, he decides to walk off, or where everybody believes that he's gonna be easily voted in, and Ace has something up his sleeve, an ace up his sleeve, mind you, while Jay says, what just happened? He literally pulled out the reverse Uno card. Will there be twists? Will there be things that people can win outside of stars or anything like could they win immunity? Cara looks very shocked by what's happening in this elimination, whether it is an upset, an underdog winning, or maybe somebody does something to get themselves out of an elimination. Possibly during this portion that Veronica was sent into elimination, where we can see the writing on Tina saying V for Eva. Leroy is screaming in pain, which this looks to be the same place where Nicole was earlier on in this trailer, where she was trying to guide that metal rod and ring around what I believe to be like an electric pole. And maybe Leroy was doing that same thing and accidentally touched that electric pole and got shocked a couple of times, and he looks in a lot of pain. And then you have Tina trying to console Janelle, where Janelle is saying, I'm not trying to be a bad person. A lot of drama, especially between Laurel here and Cara, where it looks like maybe they're part of the winning squad. They're trying to figure out somebody to nominate for elimination, and Laurel is trying to put on a poker face. Maybe Cara wants to send in Nicole, you know? Maybe she wants to send in Nicole, and Laurel, who has feelings for Nicole at this specific time, rekindling possibly things with Nicole, and is kind of throwing Nicole into elimination, where Cara says, Laurel, you're gonna look back on this and regret the way Nicole is playing you for a fool. Which then sets up, I forgot about the scene of Laurel and Nicole kissing. Stay away from Nicole, Laurel. We all know how this is going to end. It feels like a crash that you know is going to be terrible. And for us, we already know how bad it was going to be. But you can see Cam being shocked. I think that they can overhear Laurel and Cara, especially when Laurel is yelling, "You don't effing know me," and then just yells, "Shut up," at like the top of her lungs. Just very long, very loud, as we can see that Laurel and Cara and Leroy are all hanging around each other. And finally, TJ says, "Who will be crowned the next Challenge All-Stars champion?" As the truck with the maze and people are going to be hanging from it from ropes is like coming down on him on this runway. We get one last scene of Cara saying, "What we are going to do is we are going to give you guys a show." Here we get a couple of scenes of the car drifting challenge, where I believe this is Derek still, because we know that Derek is going to be doing this. That is not Derek on top of that car in particular, but who knows? That could be Leroy, maybe Kefla. And then back to... This car is going everywhere. They have a full set that is going to be driving and drifting through. This looks cool as hell. And yeah, that was Derek again doing all this. And there's one point during that whole car drifting section where Cara says, "Best challenge ever," which it looks like the best challenge ever. Or she's talking about this season as the best challenge ever. I think the challenge production team is using it in both ways. This season could be the best challenge ever, and anything is better than what we just experienced with the Challenge 39. But here it is again, the Challenge All-Stars, new season, streaming April 10th, Paramount Plus exclusive. This trailer looks absolutely incredible. One of the best trailers ever. I mean, every time I've watched it, I get super excited. First of all, All-Stars is one of the best, if not the best, challenge spinoff ever, and what I would deem the best challenge series we have gotten in general. But that is it for this trailer breakdown. What did you think about this trailer? Let me know down in the comment section below. What was your favorite part of the trailer? What are you looking most forward to? Who are you looking most forward to? Which daily challenge do you think looks the most exciting? And who are you rooting for? Who are you rooting against? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, as well as I want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supported me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really, really soon with more Challenge All-Stars 4 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.